If you don't define your values, the world will do it for you. Let's change that together, shall we? Hey, welcome to the Star Monroe Show with your exuberant host, Star Monroe, myself, psychotherapist, master life coach, and founder of the High Standards Woman. This podcast is for ambitious, driven women who demand more, who are ready to align with their higher selves. I call it your inner muse, embody their inherent worth, and magnetize everything they desire. This is why it's really important that we talk about values, these glorious pillars that hold up the mansion of your fabulous life. If you don't define them, the world will step in, other people will step in too, and impose its own chaotic version. And look, darling, we simply can't have that. Years ago, I heard that values were important, and I still remember where I was doing this work. I think it was about 15 years ago, and someone was like, define your values. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And I remember having my journal and my pen at the ready, and I was like, well, what is it? What are my values? Back then, I was just starting out on really exploring who I was, and I was trying to figure out what truly mattered to me. And I thought my values were all about luxury, wealth, and freedom. And I remember writing this down. It was luxury, wealth, and freedom. And honestly, those are still incredibly important to me. But as I gained more experience, don't we always, as we're moving? Well, only if we learn from the lessons that keep showing up. But as I've gained more experience, I realized I needed something deeper that goes underneath to support them. So today, with decades of experience of transforming lives, I can tell you that those values are still in my top tier, top shelf. But I've learned the importance of adding non negotiables like self respect, self trust, and self love. And I get it. Like, you can scroll on Instagram and TikTok and you'll see this over and over again. You just need to love yourself. You just need to respect yourself. You just need to trust yourself. And I understand these aren't buzzwords for me. These are the foundations of my life that have changed everything, and they have been hard earned as well. You know, as someone who has come from a lifetime of self-hate, self-destruction, addictions, alcoholism, abusive relationships, with others, but with myself, it's taken a lot for me to come back home to myself and say, yeah, I do love myself. I deeply respect myself. And yes, I trust my higher self, my inner muse. So I'm so excited over here because we're going to explore this together today on the podcast. So, with me right now, ask yourself this: what truly matters to me? Take a moment with that. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. What truly matters to me? And if you're somewhere where you can sit with your journal and pen, then, oh, let's do this together. It's almost like having a private lesson from me. Is it integrity? Is it adventure? Is it luxury like me? Is it freedom? Space? Is it connection? Love? Is it people? Is it success? If it's success, I encourage you to unpack that some more. Like, what does success look like for you? Is it style? Because that's another one of my values, great style. Whatever it is in your journal, start jotting them all down because we're going to go deeper. Oh, yeah, like I said, this is a private lesson with Ms. Monroe today. So as you've written them all out, there's no limit on how many you have. Like, go for it. Keep putting them down. And then also, I would say this work requires you to come back to it. Whatever work that I'm doing, any self-inquiry work, any work, the creation, I'm creating the high value. No, hang on, wait a minute, Star. Slow your roll. I'm creating the high standards woman finishing school right now. Like, I'll create, walk away from it, come back. So it's like this, you've got to let things percolate. So once you've got, let's say, at least 3 or 4 down for the time being, let's take it further. Let's dig deeper. Let's go underneath that value and see what's underneath there. So I'm going to give you some examples to get you going. And then you can get a little bit more curious because I've given you a nice head start here to go, oh, well, what sits underneath this value? What underpins those values? So if you value freedom, which is what one of mine was 15 years ago, does that also mean self-trust? The confidence to make your own choices without needing external validation? Because if you're always waiting for everybody else to tell you what to do and relying on everyone else's opinion, that's not freedom. You're tied. You're tied into other people. So underneath freedom could be self-trust. If you value luxury, could it also mean self-worth? Knowing that you are deserving of the very best in every area of your life. And I will hold my hand up here as well. And this is the work that I have been doing on myself. I knew it in me. I knew I'm here to live a luxurious, glamorous life that also contains a lot of space and solitude and silence. Like, it's my version. It makes sense to me. And yet, as I've sashayed on this journey, there's at times where I've doubted myself, where I'm like, this can't be for me. Because the thing is, like, when you open the doors to this and when you open the doors to you living a life that makes sense to you, there are no stepping stones for your journey. Yes, I can give you a framework, a guide, a step-by-step process to become the woman who makes it happen. And yet your journey is going to be your unique journey. And what I've learned, and I've seen it with my clients, they need to take one step forward. They need to establish themselves on that step, and then the next step reveals itself to them. And so, where was I? I've sort of sprungboard from this. I was talking about, the moments where I didn't trust myself, didn't see that this life that I wanted deeply within me was for me. I felt like, no, it's not for me. And I put all my dreams in a box and I threw away the key. That was back in 20, oh my goodness me, 2018. At the time, I was also married. That's a story for another time. And yet that self-doubt, it ruined me. I just became bitter, resentful, unhappy, and started to hide myself away until the day I said, no, no more. I can't do this anymore. And so this journey of me reclaiming my desires, reclaiming my birthright of living life my way, it has emboldened me to take those risks on myself, to amplify my self-worth so I can live a life of luxury. I kind of went off for a tangent there. I trust it will land for the people that need it. If you value integrity, is it also about self-honesty? Because you can't have integrity if you are in denial with yourself, having the courage to confront your own fears and shortcomings without judgment. I'm going to be talking more about that next week in next week's podcast. If you value adventure, maybe it's about curiosity, the openness to explore new places. Well, not just new places, but new parts of yourself. Oh, yes. And if you value connection, does that include vulnerability? The ability to let others see the real you without the masks. Your values are your guiding stars, your personal compass in this beautiful, ever-changing landscape of life. And elevating your standards begins with you aligning your life to these values in all their depth. And, you know, please, I'm an experiment with life. Learn. I've made the mistakes so you don't have to. And so I did try to live my life with those values of luxury, freedom, and wealth. And what I kept finding is I kept coming unstuck. I was unhappy and I couldn't maintain it, I couldn't sustain it. And it's only now, as I'm out the other side, I'm like, because you had those missing pieces. You didn't love yourself. You weren't trusting your voice, your intuition, and you definitely weren't respecting yourself. You thought you were respecting yourself, but you definitely weren't, my friend. And I don't say that to judge myself. I don't even say that to diss myself. I say that like I'm being honest. It's integrity with myself. So, you can start weaving, doing some weaving with my arms right now. You can start weaving your values into your life now. So if you value honesty, surround yourself with people who honor that. The amount of people that value integrity and trustworthiness, but yet they hang around with people that gossip and moan and complain. If you've listened to me for more than one episode, you will hear me. I've got a thing about people that moan and complain. And also, let me sidetrack. I love a good moan. I love a good moan. And yet there's a time and a place for it. And I choose to live on my own in Turkey. And I was thinking about this a minute ago. I was walking up my stairs. I was doing something. I was like, someone was irritating me. I was like, I just need someone to talk to. And I was like, no, you don't need anyone to talk to. You need to sit with the irritation. You need to hold yourself and allow this feeling to come through. Why are you irritated? And it's like I had expectations around something. It's like, let it go. We've got this. We're well looked after. We're supported. We're protected. We're loved. You've got this. So I like the fact that I don't get an opportunity to offload on people. And the other thing is, like, people have got their own stuff going on. They don't need us offloading on them. This is why people hire therapists. There's a time and a place. Plus another sidetrack going off here. Talk therapy will only get you so far. So I like a good moan, and especially when I'm changing things, when I'm about shifting my habits, my patterns. I love moaning. I'm like, well, I really liked how I did this, and I really liked how I'm doing this. And I know now that moan that I just like, that's my process. I've got to moan about it. Someone's got to hear me, and then I can move on. It's it's been part and parcel of my life for many, many years. So I was saying that you can weave these values into your life today. So if adventure sets your soul alight, make those spontaneous plans and explore new horizons. And remember, living in alignment means living true to the depth and the richness of what truly matters to you. This is another side note why you all must learn to extract yourself from external validation, because everyone's got their own opinion, and it doesn't matter if people don't agree with the way that you want to live your life, as long as you agree with it. The more you commit to living in alignment with your values in all their layers, the more powerful and fulfilling your life becomes. I can attest. Before we complete, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. I appreciate you being here. And if you're an established entrepreneur or professional who is ready to move to the next level version of yourself, and you're looking for high level support as you elevate your standards in all areas of your life, then I'd love to connect with you. I've got 2 spaces opening up to work with me, and it's a perfect time. I love this month. I love this month. It's such a good month. It's a perfect time to start doing the work. The energy is for introspection, the energy is for looking inwards. I'll put all the links you need in the show notes. All the information will be there. You can book a call with me. Join me each week for transformational conversations, insights, and strategies to help you rise up. Whenever I say rise up, I'm always lifting my arms up, up, up. Embrace our unapologetic confidence and live a life that makes sense to you, in excellence, of course. It's time to become the woman who always gets what she wants.